Hey there friends, welcome back to CallsignWolf. As always, my name is Justin and it's been a while. Hope you're all doing well. We're talking about the Night Ops update, or update 0.2 for Gray Zone Warfare. Now, I'll have a link to this website down below in the description if you want to go ahead and check it out. Problem is this also has not been updated for a while, so I don't know if this current timeline is what they're hoping to still work with, or if things are going to be changing soon. Who knows? But we haven't really heard a whole lot about when this update is exactly going to happen. All we do know is that when it happens, obviously it's going to be Night Ops and the game is going to be wiped. That's it. All it says on the actual Steam page is that it is going to be sometime fall of this year, which is literally any day now. There is nothing else said as far as when they're going to release it, if they're going to release it in stages like Tarkov does. Speaking of Tarkov, we're going to talk about some of the similarities between these two a little bit later on. The big thing that we're going to be talking about here is the Night Ops update, though. Regardless of all that, so down here it says, as darkness falls, the island offers new challenges, opportunities, and tactics. Mastering both day and night operations equipped with advanced gear adds depth and excitement to every session, ensuring a continually rewarding experience in a constantly changing environment. Night Ops enhances this with immersive night vision mechanics and new environmental points, while daytime missions feature revamped tasks and a quality of life improvements. Equip advanced gear like flashlights, lasers, and cutting-edge night vision technology to master both day and night operations. Adapt to tactical challenges and advance enemy behaviors to thrive in a constantly evolving, hostile environment. Now, there is quite a bit to unpack there, and as it already states, it's going to be introducing the whole night-day cycle, day-night cycle, night vision, apparently new environmental points. They're going to kind of change up the way things are during the daytime, and of course, quality of life improvements, advanced gear, like we're going to be going over here in just a moment, flashlights, lasers, and cutting-edge technology of the night vision variety, and of course, a new weapon. The first thing that I would like to point out here is this whole transition that they did from day to night. You can see it's dusk and the sun starts going down over the mountains, and you can actually physically see a change. I gotta say that is absolutely fantastic, and the way they made the nighttime feel, it definitely feels like a whole different world, despite it still being the same exact area of the world. This whole shot right here, I love that. I absolutely love that. That's regardless though. So it definitely has a totally different feel. I feel like it's going to be a lot more stealthy at night and a lot more in your face during the daytime. And of course, the night vision. The night vision absolutely looks fucking stunning. I love that static look of the green phosphorus and even the white phosphorus we're going to show off here in just a moment. I love this look. I do have one small issue, and it may seem like I'm nitpicking, but just in a moment here, as he, go ahead, turn on the night vision, and as he comes around this one corner by a lamppost, boom, right there. As he comes around that light post, shouldn't that light be affecting the sensors of the night vision goggles? I mean, it does in most other games, and even back when I was in the army, I clearly remember any form of light penetrating those sensors on the goggles. It actually displayed more like displayed as more of a white noise than anything else, and not so much this static, but physically just in your face white. It was so bright you had to take them off. Again, that might be nitpicking. It might be something they may want to look into in the future, but regardless, this looks absolutely stunning. Now, the other point that kind of bothers me just a tad, and again, it's nitpicking, but just in a moment here, he gets ready to ADS on this guy right there. And as you can see, it kind of looks a little fuzzy, a little blurry, if you will. I don't see that guy at all. When he ADSs, I don't see the guy anymore. And again, it might be nitpicking. It might just be a sight picture. It might be because people are already starting to shoot him. It doesn't really matter. Further away, obviously, it's a lot more clear than it was when he was up close. And I would imagine it's the same here with the white phosphorus, as opposed to that standard classic green. But the game looks absolutely stunning at nighttime. I love this. I love that there's like a meteor, which probably is a hint for later on as we get closer to update 1.0. And of course, you know, not only that, but you also have this little bit of a shimmer here, as you can see. I don't know what that's all about. That could just be lightning bugs all syncing up, or it might be something else. It does remind me indoors, especially with the flashlights, of Tarkov. And again, we're going to be mentioning Tarkov here in just a few more minutes when we talk about some of the other quality of life stuff. Lasers look absolutely stunning, awesome, fantastic, wonderful. I can see this being a bit of a problem though, on PvP servers, especially if you ever do the whole PvP versus PvE. It's like literally like night and day, pardon the pun. I would like to see some IR lasers added in eventually, maybe even with this update potentially. But I don't think lasers are going to be as big on the PvP side as they would be on the PvE side. PvE, everybody tends to work a little bit closer together, and I think that would also be, especially during the nighttime, if you do come across another player, instead of lighting each other up, you might be able to use lasers to communicate, like, oh hey, I'm a player, oh hey, I'm a player too, cool. So it could potentially be something further on down the road, who knows. Tracer rounds are another huge thing. Now I've noticed if you look currently in game before update 0.2, if you use tracers, I think there's a tracer 762 round for the AKM, or is it AKM? Yeah, I think it's AKM and AKMN and MN. Yeah, it starts becoming tongue twister for me. AKMNS. There we go. I hope I said that right. If you actually look closely enough, sometimes you can actually see the tracer round as it goes on down range. But nighttime, obviously, it's a lot easier to see. You don't necessarily need, to really look all that close. And of course, the MP5. This is probably one of the coolest looking MP5s in any video game I have ever seen. I could be wrong. I think the last time I saw an MP5 look this good, it was back on black on PS2. And I don't even really remember if it was in the game or not. I just remember there being a MP5 back in the day on PS2. It looks stunning. It looks great. I would love to be able to get my hands on this and customize it at some point here in the very near future. Because as you can see, if we scroll back just a little bit further, the way they've got it set up right now is they have the EOTech and they have the AFG foregrip. Back here, if I can get it just right, it looks like they have a shift. I'm not entirely sure if it is indeed a shift or not. And of course, the drum mag, which means 60 rounders are going to be coming very soon, if not with this update. But I have to say, they did a very fantastic job with this trailer, and the transition with day and night looks really cool. And I hope it's exactly the way that it's displayed here in the trailer. And I hope that it's not really that much different in any way, shape, or form. Now, there's a couple of things I wanted to bring up that aren't in direct correlation with update 0.2, but talking a little bit about the quality of life improvements. Now, obviously, the game itself is in very early access. It's pre-alpha, I believe. And of course, the game is not going to be perfect. It's by no means should it be perfect this early on. And it says right here, the roadmap is a work in progress, as is the game. The game itself is very much a work in progress. And at any point, they can go ahead and change things, especially as the community gives feedback, which is very important to do. If you don't like something, you better have some sort of solution on hand to give them, because, you can't just go, oh, well, I don't like it. Well, why don't you like it? I don't know. I just don't like it. That's not valid. Okay. Again, going back to the quality of life thing, the one big thing right now specifically is the whole GPU crash. So you have, while stability has proved, crashes may still occur. If they persist, try switching from FSR to DLSS, or from DLSS to TSR, or TSR to FSR, or DLSS. You get the point. And enable the GPU crashing debugging, which is an option on your graphics settings. At the very bottom of that list, it actually says GPU crash debugging, and turn that on. Now, while it may impact your performance, it actually sends that data over to Madfinger, and they can go ahead and kind of check it out and use that data to potentially fix this, hopefully soon. it's, again, it's early access. Things like this are going to happen. You can't control everything 100% of the time. You can only control some of the things maybe 20% of the time, 50% of the time, but never 100% of the time. And of course, they're going to be continuously working on these crashes and improving performance. The game is hopefully going to be optimized, hopefully by, I don't know, maybe spring or summer of next year. It might be a little bit more optimized than what it currently is. So the one thing I did mention earlier was Tarkov, and the whole, somebody had said something to the effect of them wanting to have a more or less alive or a dynamic economy. And I think that is, in fact, a very good idea, because things like, for example, the whole, let me see if I can actually find it here in the video, having the whole night vision aspect. And I remember very early wipe in Tarkov having, you know, any of the thermals or night vision. It wasn't just a privilege if you decided you were going to use it, but if you tried to sell it, it was an extremely high value item. I mean, high value. It's just like finding, you know, a red key card at any point during early wipe. It's so rare to find it in the first place, and if you do, it's potentially, you know, a couple hundred G's, potentially even more. And that is another point that I would like to bring up just after this is, you know, having items like this though can definitely make or break your wipe, whether you want to realize it or not. You keep in that Tarkov mindset. You know, it's always about the grind, right? Well, I think with Gray Zone, it's a slightly different feel. Yes, it's about the grind, and currently we're having, you know, me and the boys are having some issues trying to get certain keys for certain missions and stuff like that, but you constantly keep going back and keep going back, you know, and killing, you know, all the AI and, you know, scrounging their bodies to see, you know, all right, well, I need some of this ammo because this is pretty decent ammo, and keys, you know, things of that nature. I'm even still grabbing some of the weapons and turning around and selling them to try to keep myself above a $400,000 mark, you know. And I think having a live economy could help change that, instead of having everything kind of static the way it is right now, where it's like, oh, hey, for $3,000 you can buy yourself a early game decent M4, you know, or once you get gunny to level 3, well, I can get myself a decent DDR4. You know, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but, you know, a little bit later on down the line, if especially as you're continuously going out there, dying, coming back, going out there, dying, coming back, that price should start to change. Now it's in a higher demand because you're continuously buying that weapon over and over and over again, or putting a limit to how many are available per server in a certain amount of time frame. I think that would also be a major game changer, so to speak, for our economy in Gray Zone. Now, the last point that I wanted to make about Gray Zone here is, of course, now I saved the last now the last point that I'm trying to make here, and I saved the best for last on this one, is of environmental points. What does it mean by environmental points? Well, that's just kind of fancy. What I believe is that it's a fancy way of talking about the daytime missions feature, how it's revamped, and how there's a slight feel difference between the trying to do a mission in daytime versus doing it at nighttime. I don't think it necessarily means, you know, doing it one way is going to change the outcome for you yourself later on down the road, but that does seem to be a very interesting point. What if, and I'm sure some of you at least have done this, you've noticed that sometimes you get a mission for one of the vendors, and then you get a mission for another vendor that wants the same exact item or wants the same exact thing done, but they want it done for them and not the other person. What if, just what if, you do a task for vendor A versus vendor B? How will that play out in the future? Is that even going to be a talking point at any point here during any of these updates leading up to release? Is it something that we're going to see at any point? Is Badfinger even going to bring it up? I don't know, but I think that would be a very interesting dynamic for our missions, our tasks, you know, because we're here currently, for some unknown reason. Something happened and we're here, we're trying to uncover exactly what happened. And As far as I can tell with all the available tasks, that not a whole lot is actually said. I don't know if that's a misdirect from Madfinger themselves going, oh, hey, we're going to keep the real story under wraps, but this is the reason why you're here in the first place at the very least. I think that would be very misleading, but a very interesting thing to have done when it comes to storytelling. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to talk about storytelling because I myself am not a storyteller. I can sit here and ramble and ramble and ramble, as many people have liked to point out to me in the past. But I'm not going to go ahead and kind of go down the whole conspiracy theory rabbit hole. Instead, I'm just going to simply say, hey everyone, Justin here again. If you enjoyed the action and want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out on my next mission. Click the bell icon to get notified of my latest content. Like the video if you found it thrilling, and drop a comment down below to let me know what your thoughts are, or even share your favorite moment. I'd love hearing from you. And hey, if you know somebody who'd be just as excited about this content, share it with them. Every like, comment, and share helps me bring you more of the content you love. Until next time, stay sharp and game on. Take care.